I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. And we are going to be talking about some sort of bright idea that I think I can prove, because if you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you'd already know that the title of tonight's show is A Happy Ending. And that is because there is the possibility of a new start or a new beginning that comes about as the result of a happy ending that can be coming up very soon in your life. And that is for a variety of reasons. The first reason is that it would involve your career, or it would involve your public reputation, because there are 5 planets still in the realistic, practical Earth signs, and they are trining each other. So we still have the Sun, and now we have Venus, which has gone retrograde, but it's still in Capricorn, and Mercury and Pluto are all in Capricorn. That's 4 of them, and Capricorn does rule your 10th house of career and your public reputation in the community, and it rules rewards you have earned the hard way over a long period of time. So it rules retirement and pension plans, and it does rule public recognition in your community or even in a larger sphere. It also rules management in large corporations or government agencies. But because Capricorn's ruler is Saturn, and Saturn is one of these real slow-moving planets, it simply means that you too could have a very happy ending about to happen to you, simply because you have been very steady in your efforts over a long period of time. But it isn't just steadiness that counts now, it's also a rise in your skill level. In other words, you have become a more valuable entity because you have more skills. And perhaps you're deserving of more recognition and maybe more pay because of that as well. The reason money can be on your mind is because the 4 planets in Capricorn are all trining Uranus in Taurus. And Taurus is a fixed financial sign. It rules the 2nd house of how you make your money and what you spend it on. Excuse me. And it rules the New York Stock Exchange. And it rules the countries of Germany and of Israel. And so, with Uranus in that sign, and it's a very volatile, unpredictable planet because it rules sudden, surprising change. But because it is trining those 4 planets in Capricorn, it simply means that rather suddenly there could be a new beginning for you that comes about because of a happy ending right now. And so, where's this happiness coming from? Well, it is centered on your career, it involves the earth signs, and because half of all the planets are in the earth signs, and they all trine the sign of Virgo as well. So it involves your career, or involves your status in the community, or it involves your job and your health and your banking or your accounting, or how you handle the books, or how you handle your own personal finances, as well as your investments and your retirement or pension funds. So the happy ending could be if you do retire and your pension is looking pretty good, that would be great. But remember, I said a new beginning comes out of a happy ending. And that is because when we're looking at a chart, or when I'm writing the scripts, all the scripts begin with a map that I draw of where the planets are on the day of the show. And then I take a look at that, and there's only 10 planets, but there are 12 signs, and so there's going to be different angles going on. And what I'm looking for is not just what's there. If you want to really understand the influences around us, I mean, we have free will. Nobody makes us do anything. But if you want to understand the influence around us, particularly when you're looking at a chart, you have to ask yourself, what's not there? And so once you start, and I always do that, I look right at wherever the planets are today and I say, okay, what's missing? What's not there? And the first reason for your happy ending could be that these 5 planets are so harmonious right now. And they're such good planets. Venus is at 24 degrees of Capricorn, Mercury is at 25, and Pluto is at 26. They're all tightly conjuncting each other. Isn't that nice? Because it strengthens all of them. But the second reason, besides just the placements of the planets in the earth signs, is that Capricorn has hidden strength right now. A lot of it. And that's because when I'm looking at a chart and I'm always asking what's missing, what isn't there. So I was doing that when I was preparing this script. And I noticed that the 4 planets in Capricorn are not receiving any aspects from other cardinal signs. Capricorn is a cardinal sign. But there are no planets in Aries. There's no planets in Cancer. There's no planets in Libra. In other words, there's nothing squaring or opposing the 4 planets in Capricorn. So there's no opposition. There are no challenges. There's nothing real hard coming up against them. So these 4 planets are enjoying absolutely no resistance. They're doing just fine right now. That's why I'm pretty sure there's a happy ending coming. However, we can dig a little deeper. And when we do, we can understand that if there are no planets at all in the other cardinal signs, but there are 4 in Capricorn, and there's 10 planets up there, that means that all 6 of the remaining planets are either sextiling or trining the planets in Capricorn. In other words, these planets in Capricorn have hidden strength because they have no challenges facing them, and they have the complete support of all the planets up there. If for those of you who want to take a look, every planet is sextiling or trining the 4 planets in Capricorn. And there's nothing opposing or squaring them. That's that hidden strength. Remember that Capricorn rewards you on merit for what you do right. And even if it takes you a long time to get it right, there will be a reward for that. Particularly, you have to remember, Capricorn rules time. So you can take your time. Or it may be that it's been a long time for you to understand that, you've got some rewards coming here. You've got a happy ending coming. And if there is a happy ending somewhere in your life for right about now, then what comes next? Well, of course, a new beginning. I mean, because you're still alive and you want to get going, don't you? And this is the end of one year, but oh boy, we've got another one coming up. And so that's why a new beginning can arise from a very happy ending right now. Where could that happy ending be coming in? It could be in the form of giving you opportunities for recognition among upper management or people in an organization that you belong to. You might be a volunteer that's been, working away. And you could be getting some really wonderful recognition for that. Or it can be that this is a time when people are evaluating your skills and seeing that, boy, you've got them. And so they may be thinking, particularly your bosses, may be thinking of promoting you. maybe you're going to go into upper management. That would be a happy ending to a lot of hard work, wouldn't it? But that could happen. Remember, there's nothing stopping what Capricorn represents. And it's not just that they're not meeting any resistance, those 4 planets. It is that all the other planets are supporting them. A sextile represents opportunity. A trine represents harmony. And all the planets are doing one or the other to the 4 planets in Capricorn. And remember, one of them is Venus. That's why I think it's a happy ending. Venus is a happy planet. Okay, so there are some other things going on that do indicate a new beginning is on your horizon. And that is that yesterday, a major planet changed signs. And so today, Jupiter is no longer in Aquarius. It has moved into Pisces. And it is joining Neptune, the ruler of the sign in Pisces. And they are both trining the moon in Scorpio today. So those are 3 very strong, good planets in water signs, all trining each other. And since Scorpio does rule justice, and Pisces rules things that are hidden behind the scenes, but particularly now that Jupiter has moved into Pisces, there's going to be, and Neptune is direct, the ruler of the sign is there, and it's direct. There's going to be an awful lot of information coming out right now that really is going to produce good results. It means justice will be done. And not in a little way either. In other words, when justice is done somewhere, it's going to be based on a whole lot of information, not just a little bit. And that's why justice will be done. Remember, the water signs rule healing. And if we're ever going to trust each other and live up to our best, then we all have to sort of be on the same page about, the rules or the laws. And we sort of all have to follow them. And so this is a time when if some people hadn't been doing that, oops, they will be facing justice. And so that is going on. Jupiter is very well placed in Pisces. Pisces is a double-bodied, mutable sign. Pisces people are very nice people. But they're never all in one place. In other words, it's a very creative sign. And so they can be paying attention to their job or whatever else they're doing, but still there's a part of them that is maybe dreaming of something else, or their heart is yearning for something else. Remember, it's a double-bodied sign. There are 3 of them: Pisces, Gemini, and Sagittarius. And so this is a time when some people could say, well, I know I have these 2 different opportunities, and I can't do both, so I'll have to choose. Whatever they're going to choose is their new beginning. It doesn't mean that they're exactly dropping the second choice, but they might want to get one opportunity off the ground, a new beginning after a happy ending. Well, that's pretty nice. And then phase in the other thing that they're thinking about a little bit later on. Now, they're really going to have an opportunity to do that because Jupiter will be in Pisces. It usually stays in a sign for a whole year. But we have some eclipses coming up in the spring and in the fall. And in between that time, when the eclipses are occurring, Jupiter is actually going to run into Aries. And it will be in Aries during the summer, but then it'll retrograde and go back into Pisces for the fall. So, whether your new beginning, your preferred new beginning, is your first choice or your second choice, somehow they're both going to get done. You don't have to worry about that too much. It's just going to take maybe until the summer to get everything going. But so that's a good outcome for having Jupiter in Pisces. And remember, Neptune is such a slow planet that it's very significant that it is in the sign it rules. Because for many people, this is the first and only time in their lives when that would be happening. And so Pisces rules miracles. And that's why I do think there's a new beginning coming from a happy ending. If that sounds like an outrageous miracle to you, stay tuned, because it still might happen. The other thing that can be bringing about a new beginning from a happy ending is that for the first time in months, two malefic planets are not squaring or opposing each other, and they are Mars and Saturn. And that means, it sort of means you can take the load off. You can not worry so much, or not be quite so pressured. And that is because Mars is in Sagittarius. And so it is sextiling Saturn in Aquarius. These two malefic planets, which have been squaring each other and opposing each other, now they're sextiling each other. They're actually working together. In other words, they're not causing a lot of problems. They are malefic planets because they can get you in trouble if you go overboard with them. But just as they stand right now, Mars in Sagittarius and Saturn in Aquarius, it seems as if the better part of valor is to realize that you have to find a way to work something out in the future. Even if it takes a long time. That's about the only way to solve a problem, is to work it out in the future, or work it out a little bit over time. And both of these planets are not there to get us in trouble now. They're there to help us. But we have to work their way, not our way. And neither one of them is real loving planets. So you are going to have to face reality about something. But if you just can't resolve an issue at the moment, why don't you just drop it for now, because it's the holidays, and think about how you could take smaller steps over a longer period of time and maybe, resolve it. Someone could want to be in a hurry. Another person could be saying, let's take our time. There might be a way to try that out in one way or another, with a little compromise. Okay, so who would ever have thought at the beginning of the year that we would be doing the last show for the year, and we would be facing a new beginning that is the result of a happy ending? So I wish you the best of luck. Those of you who have not given up this year and have worked hard, or have, I would think, even if you haven't made a lot of progress, every time that you encountered a problem, you did not give up. Capricorn rules perseverance. If you continue to persevere, if you learned a whole lot of things you never thought you could do, but you did them anyway, then there is a happy ending to this year. First of all, you have more talent and more skills than you had at the beginning of the year. But also you have much more pride and self-confidence, because you know you can solve problems. Because you had to do it. So anyway, what does this idea of a happy ending mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, this is a time with Mars, your own ruler, in Sagittarius, trining your sun, that somebody, and it could be somebody from a distance, or it could be somebody in higher education, or it could be someone in the courts, whatever Sagittarius rules, it could be pressing you to make a decision about something, or pressing you to go in a certain direction. And you'd have to think very carefully about that, Aries. And the reason why is that, yes, your ruler is trining your sun. Mars in Sagittarius trines the Aries sun. But the strength isn't, the strength really isn't in the fire signs. The strength is in the earth signs right now. And so, Aries, before you think about making some sort of change, or you think of putting a lot of money down on some big project that is an expensive one, you may feel it's well worth it, but still it's a little pricey. If I were you, I'd really look at your budget. And 2022, next year, is going to be a year when all of us are going to have to pay much closer attention to our finances. All of the eclipses are in the financial signs, all 4 of them. And so if I were you, Aries, I would pull back a little bit right now. If you haven't gone on that wonderful trip that you really wish you were going on, you might think about postponing it just a little bit longer and saving the money, because you might need it. And that is because there are 4 planets in Capricorn. The Sun, Venus, Mercury, and Pluto are in Capricorn, and they all square your Sun. And they are really in the driver's seat. There's nothing squaring or opposing them, and every planet is supporting them. So, believe it or not, Aries, somewhere at a level that I think is a little higher than you, decisions are being made. And they're made at a high level because they involve a lot of people. In other words, it could be corporate policy that's going to be new next year, or or budgets could shrink, certainly, or it can be that management changes, and there could be even a realignment of whole departments or a merging of departments. Anything that involves cost cutting, anything that can help improve the bottom line. Capricorn is a business sign. That's what's going to be emphasized, Aries. So you have to, I would say, really save your money right now if you haven't already spent it on Christmas, and try to see what happens next. But I would advise you not to make yourself a target in any way. Do not stand out. This is not the time for you to try to be the boss. And the reason why is that it's the sign of Capricorn that's got all the strength in it, the hidden strength. And there could be people in very high places that are definitely going to do what they want. And if you counter them or you argue with them in any way, it will hurt you, but it won't hurt them. It won't even make a dent in them. But that could really hurt you. And so this is the time to be on your best behavior if you can be, Aries. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? I mean, a Taurus? Taurus. Well, Taurus, yours is an earth sign, and oh boy, there's a lot of power and strength in the earth signs right now. And yet, you still have to sort of keep your eyes peeled for trouble, Taurus. And that is because, yes, the 4 planets in Capricorn do trine your Sun, which is wonderful. And Uranus in your sign is not only trining them, but these 5 planets together are trining the sign of Virgo as well, which can improve your health in one way or another. Virgo rules health. And so that would be good. But Taurus, there are still planets in fixed signs, and that's what you need to be careful about. And that is because the moon in Scorpio is opposing Uranus in your sign. These are 2 planets that sort of operate sort of in an unseen way. And when Uranus is operating in an unseen way, there's always a sudden surprise somewhere that shocks people. But when the moon operates in an unseen way, it simply means that there are some people that can understand your feelings a whole lot better without even you saying a word. They're very empathetic, which is nice. But these planets are squaring each other, and they're both squaring Uranus in your sign. And so there actually is a T-cross in fixed signs today. And it's worse than that. Saturn is in Aquarius. Saturn is squaring your sun. The moon in Scorpio is opposing your sun. I guess that's all. There's nothing in Leo. So anyway, I'm sorry, I'm acting a little confused, and I'm not really confused. It's just the end of the year, and I'm actually working on the scripts for next week, the ones that cover a whole year. Those are really hard to do. So back to what's going on for you, Taurus. It simply means that you do have to sort of watch your money a little bit more closely. And the reason why is that with the moon opposing Uranus in your sign, and the moon being in Scorpio, and Scorpio ruling taxes and medical costs, because Scorpio rules the whole medical field and the cost of it all, that could throw you for a loop. Either you're going to be facing higher taxes next year, or else if you have had your health improve, but you had to go to the doctor and have some work done, well, that's expensive. And that is why you have to be a little bit careful with the money now yourself, or contemplate that you may have to pay higher taxes next year. In fact, I just don't think you can get away from it, Taurus. I think that'll have to be done. And then with Saturn squaring your sun, it simply means that although you are in a solid position wherever you are, large companies or government agencies could change their policies, and that may change the way you operate in the future. It could do that for all of us, but Saturn is in Aquarius, which rules the future, and it is squaring your sun. It's also squaring the moon in Scorpio. So some parents are not getting along, and the issue is money. And if that's happening to you, Taurus, then just try to be your charming self anyway, and get through the holidays, because there really is a happy ending coming. And the reason the happy ending is coming is because there's sort of like nothing stopping it anymore, so it's going to happen. But the new beginning is generated from it. Your new beginning might be a little bit expensive, Taurus. But it's not that you don't have the money. It's just that Taurus is sort of careful with their money. They work hard for it, so they're careful with it. But something may end up costing you more. Not just now, but maybe throughout all of next year as well. It could be something that you deserve, though. Something that, maybe you've worked very hard for it. And if I were you, I would just be careful how you spend your money. But I think that you should go ahead and get that new beginning underway, even if it is pricey. For one, you can afford it. And secondly, there's no time like the present, Taurus. I mean, what are we all waiting for? The one thing the pandemic did is it made us wait for the return of our old lives. And at least 2 years in now, we realize we're not quite going back. But people with a lot of drive who are hard workers like you, they can go forward. So there's a nice new beginning for you, Taurus. It's just going to be a little pricey. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, this is a time when you may feel as if you're sort of working all by yourself. And the reason why is that a wonderful planet that has been trining your sun for a year, Jupiter in Aquarius, which has been trining your sun, has left Aquarius, and now it's in Pisces, and it's actually squaring your sun along with Neptune in Pisces as well. And so there aren't quite as many planets in Aquarius backing you up as there have been. But Saturn is there, and it will be there for 2 years, and it will continually be backing up your sign, Gemini, and the Libra sun as well. And so don't worry, Gemini, if you skip a step anywhere, that Saturn will make you go back and make sure you do everything right. So you may feel as if you have lost some support that was pretty big and glorious and grand and wonderful. That's the effect of Jupiter. Well, it did move on yesterday, but it doesn't exactly mean that all the goodness is gone, Gemini. It just means that as we're facing the new year now, the hard work really has to start. It has to get underway. And so it might have been sort of fun getting your ideas or your friends together or your plans made, but now the work must begin. And don't worry, nothing will stop you for the next 2 years because Saturn is continually backing up your sign the whole time. And that simply means there are old friends, or else there are people in high positions in government or in corporations that really like you, and they are solidly backing you, and they are not leaving. So Gemini, I think the fun's over, and now you got to get to work. But that's all right. You've got some very staunch supporters that will help you with that. So that will be good. So I think a new beginning is underway for you because it has to be now. And it's the result of a happy ending. I think the happy ending for you, Gemini, involves the fact that you know you can do it. It's just a question of the timing. And that is pretty dependent upon what other people do. So I mean, if something goes slowly for a while, that may not be your fault at all. Don't blame yourself. It may be that there's structural changes in other organizations that you have to contend with. So does everybody else. So don't worry about that too much. Okay, what does it mean to Cancer? Cancer. This is a time when you can be feeling as if there really is a happy ending somewhere. And the happy ending for you will generate a new beginning because something is over, or it's finished, or it has run its course. So it may be something that you used to do, Cancer. And it may be that you used to do it with other people, and that it was fun, or it was productive, a lot got done, or it sort of became a habit, so it became ingrained in your life, and it's run its course. So I'm not commenting on whether it's good or bad for you. All I'm saying is it's over. And it's run its course. And I would say you're better for it, Cancer. There are strong planets in the water signs right now, and they are all supporting your sign. So if you're feeling that you need a little healing, you're going to get it. In fact, I think you're getting it already. Because the moon in Scorpio is trining your sun today, and Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces are also trining your sun. And so you're going to learn a lot of information from behind the scenes about people or about situations that were sort of obvious. In other words, you could say, oh, everybody knew it. And you could say you knew it. Cancers are very sensitive. They sort of know what's going on, even though people don't talk about it. And so you could say, oh, gee, I always knew that was going to happen, or that had happened. And so as you learn the truth, you can be set free from the past. And as you realize something that you used to do sort of habitually, it sort of filled up your days. I'm not saying that it was always thrilling. It just filled up your days. And and it might not really have been with the people that you wish you were with, but it's more or less the people you were stuck with, which is fine. You probably got along with them just great, but not, in other words, it's run its course, and I don't think you miss them. And then there's the people that you always knew justice would catch up with them someday, and it's going to. So I would say you're able to heal. And there could be some more money coming your way, Cancer, because Scorpio is a money sign, and the moon is there. And it could be through inheritance. Scorpio rules inheritance. But it could also be from an income tax refund that I hope you're getting. I don't think too many people are getting refunds next year. They will find a way to get as much tax revenue as they can because our debt is so high. So I think that Cancer, you are in a place where as you start the new year, I think you might wake up and have a smile on your face. You may not even know why you're smiling. But it's that you can feel there's a new beginning coming. And that smile is because you can realize, that thing that's done now, gee, I feel so much better. I'm glad I don't have to go back to that. And that is going to put that smile on your face, and that is going to energize you to make a new beginning. And you might have a little more money to do that with. So, Happy New Year. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, this is the time when there are planets in fixed signs. And so Uranus in Taurus is squaring your sun. Saturn in Aquarius is opposing your sun. Excuse me. And the moon in Scorpio is also squaring your sun. So as you're looking forward, excuse me, you may feel as if, you may have been so used to living a certain lifestyle that you can't believe that it could be uncomfortable right now to do that. And you don't even understand how it could be uncomfortable, or why isn't your dollar, buying everything that it used to buy? Well, it's because of matters beyond your control, Leo. It is because of inflation. I mean, is there anything that isn't inflated now? Everything is inflated. And that means that people who go to work and get a paycheck, that paycheck is not worth what it used to be because prices are inflated. Money is inflated. And so it's not buying as much. You could feel as if you're almost getting caught in some sort of squeeze play, Leo, because actually everybody is feeling the same squeeze on their wallet. And that is because of inflation. Okay, then add the fact that this is the end of one year, and now we're going to be having to pay taxes in the spring. And that's another drain on the old wallet. And so you could be a little bit worried about your future, Leo, and whether you can maintain the lifestyle you have become accustomed to. And the reason why you may not get the answer to that is because it might not be in your hands. In other words, the next government policy that comes down, or the next executive order, or some catastrophe, or somebody starting a war. All of these things which are not in your control are going to affect you anyway. They're going to affect all of us. And so you could be you could be having to face the awful truth about the fact that, money isn't buying as much as it used to. And, Leos are extravagant. They like entertaining. Entertainment is ruled by Leo. And they like, sort of being the big spender. And, it's hard to do that when, if your income isn't going up as fast as inflation, you'll never be able to keep up. Nobody will. And so I would say, Leo, with Mars and Sagittarius trining your sun, you may, particularly if you're getting close to retirement, you may be looking around for more distant places to retire to that are not as expensive as where you live now. And that would be a good idea. That is how you could stretch your dollar a little bit, and you're in control of that. So, Leo, there's just a lot to think about. Still, this is the end of the year, and there can be some accolade coming your way, or there can be a retirement, wouldn't that be nice, with a nice pension coming your way, or there just can be some public recognition of the volunteer work that you have been doing. That would be nice. But all of that, whatever you do, Leo, it's going to cost money, and throughout 2022, you're going to have to keep a very careful accounting of things. Leos don't really like to budget, but you're going to have to. That is one thing you'll have to change, Leo. And Leos like parties. Well, go ahead and party, but couldn't it be in something that is good to your budget, that it doesn't cost you so much? Because you're going to have to watch the pennies throughout the whole next year. But that might be because you're starting something new. And it could be because of some happy ending that you've already had this year, particularly right about now. So, I mean, there's good things happening to you, Leo. You just are going to have to be more careful with your money. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, this is a time with 5 planets in the earth signs, all trining your sun, and one of them is your ruler, Mercury. Mercury, Venus, and Pluto are all tightly conjuncting in Capricorn, and the sun is in Capricorn too. Those 4 are all trining your sun, and so is Uranus in Taurus. So there can be a very happy ending to something that you have been working on for a long time, but certainly all this year, Virgo. But I think longer than that. You're connected to something that you've been doing for a long time, let me put it that way. And this last year, you may, despite the changes that we've all had to face during the pandemic, you may have organized yourself so that you could do things in the most efficient way possible. Virgo rules efficiency. And now you can be blessed with a happy ending to the changes you've had to make, and you could be realizing that you're in a pretty good spot. And you're not the only one that realizes that, Virgo. Other people can see that you're in a pretty good spot. In other words, if there have been other people that have changed jobs or reduced their work hours or whatever, you never did. Or if there are there have been budget cuts so that there are not as many people to do the job, you still stayed and did it. And it simply means that I think the people who are higher up in upper management have had their eye on you for a while. I would say clear through the fall at least. And it can be that there is a new beginning for you, Virgo, and it's based on this happy ending, which involves recognition of your efforts, either in the community or in your place of work, or regarding your accounts, your bank accounts, and your investment accounts. So you could have a nice smile on your face too. Because I think for you, Virgo, everything is where, as you end the year now, everything is where it's supposed to be. It might not have started that way, but that's the way it is now. And even if it took extra work from you, it was worth it. So I think you're on very solid ground right now. And if you haven't had some real good career news, it's still coming your way, Virgo. It might be just until we have to wait until the holidays are over. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, this is a time when I think that, Libra, you just have to sort of forget the outside world. And the reason why is that there are 4 planets in Capricorn. The Sun, Venus, your own ruler, which is now retrograde, and Mercury and Pluto, and they are all squaring your Sun. And they are backed up, which is great. Your sign is backed up too, but not by as many planets as it has been, because Jupiter has moved on. So now it's only Saturn in Aquarius that is trining your Sun. But it's rather staunch backup. And remember, Venus, your ruler, is retrograde now in Capricorn. There's only 2 retrograde planets, Venus and Uranus. And they trine each other. And they're both retrograde. Something that had ended in your life, Libra, could suddenly return. And the reason it could return is because of changes that have occurred throughout the world, and changes that have occurred a little closer to home, and then changes that you have made in your own self. See, if everybody changes a little bit, it does add up to some rather nice change. Everybody has a hand in the change. And that could bring about a happy ending. And maybe create a new beginning. And I don't know if there is a reunion of someone with you, Libra. I don't know if that's what you really want. You would want their friendship for sure. But I don't know if you'd want any more than that. But still, to recognize that throughout this whole pandemic, the things that were true in our hearts didn't break down. They got stronger. And they had to, because really the world was in trouble. And so just remember, if someone comes back in your life, Libra, their heart is stronger, but so is yours. And just take it one day at a time. Because by itself, a reunion of any duration could represent a happy ending. And that could actually free you to make a new beginning yourself. It could free the other person to make a new beginning too. You wouldn't both have to be doing it together, but you could. So just think about it a little bit, Libra. There may be someone that you're very fond of that comes back. And, the pandemic is getting over, and any games we play with others should be over too. Life is short enough that we have to be really sincere. So that's why you need to examine your own heart. Remember, our hearts, love that was true love stayed together. And anything else didn't. But that's okay, because people can move on. And the ones where the love stayed together, they both really value each other more than they used to. And so look for the happy ending, Libra, because I think there's one around. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Scorpio, the moon is in your sign today, and it is being trined beautifully by Jupiter, which just went into Pisces, and by Neptune in Pisces, which is direct. So all 3 of these planets are also trining the sign of Cancer, which is America's sun sign, and rules the home and the family. And so Scorpio, I think that you can, since the moon also rules Cancer, it's trining the sign it rules, and it can make you very fond of your family. and also very fond of your home. Now let's define what that means. Where is a person's home? Okay, it's at a certain address where you get your mail and so on. But even within a building, or even within a house or an apartment or whatever, there's always one room or two rooms that you live in. I live in my office. This is where we're shooting the show. And so it might be that wherever your home is, whatever room you are most comfortable in is rewarding you right now with a sense of peaceful satisfaction and also a sense of command. You know what you've been through, and you certainly wouldn't want to go through it again, but it has brought you out of the darkness and out of the shadows of things that had bothered you for a long time. And now you are beyond that. And this is your happy ending, where you can feel at home with something that you're doing, or something that you believe in, or something that has made you stronger. So in a way, what I'm talking about is, Scorpio, you probably have a lot more belief in yourself now. Well earned, by the way. And those planets in Capricorn are all sextiling your sun and the moon. And even Mars in Sagittarius is sextiling the moon in your sign. And so I think you have some change coming into your life, Scorpio, that represents walking into a group of people or a situation or a task or responsibility that others will depend on you for, that is something you know you can do. Now, you may not have known that you could have done it if you hadn't gotten through all the trouble this year. But getting through all the trouble this year has convinced you you can get through anything else, and is that ever true? So this new beginning that comes out of a happy ending now, the happy ending can be the ending to a year of worry and strife and challenge, all of which you faced. Okay, you didn't run away. You did fine in the end. And also it wasn't too pleasant, but it's over. And so now, I think you're going to be either invited into a prestigious organization, or you could join one, or you could work hard at something in that room that is really a home for you. I mean, I don't know if it's your office. My office is my home. But wherever you feel real comfortable, your star is about to rise, Scorpio. And I was going to say that it would shine, but it's already shining. It's going to rise. And perhaps for the first time in your life, it's going to rise just by yourself. Just by yourself. You know, if you want to do your best, it's up to you. Can you do your best? Oh, yes, you can. And you know it. You have much more self-confidence now than I think you've ever had in your life. Because there isn't much of a mystery for you anymore, Scorpio. Yeah, I mean, life is not a mystery for you. You faced a lot of challenges. You've got some good answers there. You know what you can handle. But now, your star will rise. And you are sure going with it. And even if it's as hard as what you just already went through, it doesn't matter. You can handle it. I just think that stars are supposed to shine and guide others. Remember, the 3 wise men saw the stars and found the child in Bethlehem. And so you're going forward, Scorpio, and you're going to be completely unafraid. You're going to do a great job. No matter what comes at you, you're going to do a great job. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarius? Sagittarius, you're going to do a great job. No matter what comes at you, you're going to do a great job. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarius? Sagittarius, this is a time when you can still be thinking that you have to get so many things done, and it is the end of the year, and Mars is in your sign, sort of pushing you along, making sure that you are in a hurry all the time. Or it can be that there is some sort of element of danger around you. Mars is sort of a dangerous planet, and so you need to be extra alert right now, Sagittarius. And the reason why is that danger could happen suddenly, and it would not be anything you're looking for. It would be a little bit as if you were in the wrong place at the wrong time, accidental. But you have to be careful about that. However, the good news is that Mars in your sign is now sextiling Saturn in Aquarius. These 2 malefic planets are actually sort of working a little bit together, and they can be helping you out right now, believe it or not. And so if you are thinking that you have a project in mind that is a long drawn out one, and you're a little bit worried about making the deadlines or succeeding at it, I would say have no fear. No matter how long it takes, you probably are going to make your goal. Probably are going to succeed at that. And even if you don't know for sure about that, you would get a strong hint that you could succeed this summer when Jupiter goes into Aries and trines your sun. It won't stay there. It'll go back in Pisces, but for the summer it's going to be in Aries. And sometime this summer, there will be like a door will open, and you will then be able to see, yes, you can make it. And so just for right now, you need to protect yourself a little bit more, Sagittarius. Do not assume that everybody around you is your friend, because a sudden accident could occur. And you don't want that, so just be extra cautious if you can. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Capricorn. Well, Capricorn, I've been talking about your sign the whole show. I mean, the whole opening was about your sign. Because your sign has 4 great planets in it, the Sun, Venus, Mercury, and Pluto. And those last 3 are all conjuncting each other, so they're very strong. And they are trining Uranus in Taurus, and together those 5 planets are trining the sign of Virgo as well, which means your health should be improving. So Capricorn, you really have a green light right now. There are no planets in the other cardinal signs. There is nothing opposing you, or there's nothing even questioning you right now. People like you quite a bit. And also, whatever you have been doing, the nice thing about it is that, Capricorn, your work speaks for itself. It's not like you have to go out and promote yourself. Your work speaks for yourself. And that is why there can be a new beginning coming out of a happy ending. And this happy ending involves recognition of some sort of what you have been doing, or it can be that you are getting ready to retire, or it can be that your peers or other people in a prestigious organization have noticed your work and are ready to recognize you for that. Maybe they'll hire you as upper management. But whatever it is, you are ending the year on a high note, Capricorn. Now, you may be saying to yourself, oh, I'm a little tired. In other words, you might have been putting in a lot of effort this year. But your sign rules perseverance. That's what you do best. Capricorns do not give up. They're very practical, though. If they think that something is not working out, they will look for a better alternative. But they'll be real careful at what they're looking at, though. Because your ruler, Saturn, is not a fast mover. And Capricorn rules time. And so Capricorns inherently feel that they have a lot of time. And generally that's true. Capricorns do live to be very old. And they have to have money to live on that long. So sometimes they work even when past retirement age. But they like to. They like that steady effort. And so Capricorn, congratulations. I don't know what the happy ending is, but I have a feeling that you will enjoy it, and that there is some sort of new beginning coming that is based on recognition of your fine efforts. And if nothing else, you are very popular now, Capricorn, particularly with people who are a little bit older or who are rather influential. You're very popular with them. They like you because they can trust you. They can see the results of your efforts. You're not trying to sell yourself. You're just trying to do your best. And a lot of people appreciate that. So, good luck. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Aquarius. Well, Aquarius, you could almost be feeling like, oh, where'd the party go? And the reason why is Jupiter, the planet of abundance and goodness, has been in your sign for most of this last year. And yet now, as of yesterday, it has left and gone into Pisces, where it is joining Neptune and trining the moon in Scorpio. So instead, you just have one planet in your sign for the next 2 years, Aquarius, and it's Saturn. And that Saturn is squaring the ruler of your sign, Uranus, which is in Taurus. And so this is a time, Aquarius, when you have to be really careful about what you want in your future. And you are quite capable of changing your mind on that. Whatever you wanted in your future, you could be changing your mind right now. And it may have been coming on slowly, but now you can sort of maybe see things more clearly. And so the moon in Scorpio is squaring your sun, and so is that Uranus in Taurus. And so you are facing some challenges, Aquarius, and you don't have the protection and the enthusiasm of Jupiter in your sign anymore. And so I think that what it means is that the possibilities are a little bit more limited than they used to be. And so you have to sort of carefully decide what your next steps will be. And it is possible that maybe you should have a plan A that you're working on, but you better keep a plan B in mind as well, just in case plan A doesn't work. Because all year long in 2022, there will be questions that have to do with your finances and taxes and investments and some of these things that could affect you would be beyond your control. In other words, if you work for a large corporation or a government agency and they make some policies that say eliminate your job position, oops, you have no control over that, but boy, that would hit you. And so I'm not saying that that would happen. I'm just saying that that's an example of other people who make decisions, and those decisions could adversely affect you. And so you do have to watch out for that. If I were you, just like I told Leo, I would not spend so much money right now. You know, if you could have money, but it's not a good idea to be spending it now. You need to sort of wait and see what the new year is going to challenge you on as far as your finances go. Because you may have to answer many challenges in 2022 since the eclipses all square your sun. There's 2 in Taurus, that squares your sun, and there's 2 in Scorpio, and that'll square your sun. So if I were you, I would sort of lay low and hang on to my money if I were you, Aquarius, and wait and see what other people do first before you spend any of your own money. Just have it in reserve if you can. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Pisces. This is a time, Pisces, when you can be feeling as if you're just truly blessed. And the reason why is Jupiter just came into your sign. Lucky you. And it is joining your own ruler, Neptune, in your sign. And both planets are direct, and they are trining the moon in Scorpio today, which also is direct. And so I would say that there can be some good money news coming your way, Pisces. And also there is the possibility that things that you sort of thought were, in other words, when you were looking at a situation or you were hearing something described, you were sort of assessing the parts of the story that you thought were true, and then maybe the other parts of a story that were not true. You were able to sort of divide that out. And now, with Jupiter coming into your sign, you're going to be able to see sort of how right you were about a lot of things. And if you have been sort of sitting on the fence and waiting and trying to gather more information before you make up your mind about something, you will not have to wait too much longer. And instead, you know, just look at what you thought was the truth about some story or some plan, and then the parts of it that you doubted, and you will see that the things that were true may not outweigh the things that were not true. In other words, if there's anything funny going on, no matter how good it looks or how good it sounds, don't be tempted to take it. As long as it's got something wrong with it, leave it alone. And because you really, there's so much truth that's going to come out about a lot of things right now, most of which you suspect anyway. So I think you're just going to have the truth verified, actually. But if you also see that there are things that are wrong that come out, then just, you're going to have to say goodbye to that situation or that relationship or that job offer or something. If it's got anything wrong with it, you need to get out of it. Because you have very good planets in your sign, and you cannot risk taking a chance on things that are not quite legitimate. Because if you step into that mess, it's going to cover you with problems also. And that would be a serious step back in your life, Pisces. Don't do it. Instead, the things that you felt were true probably are, and the things you thought were made up probably are. But you need to get away from those, and in order to get away from those, you might also have to leave both sides of something, or you have to leave the whole thing. But you know, Pisces, you're one whole person, and you cannot afford to be less. You should be striving to be more. And I think you can. But that means you're going to have to turn your back on things that aren't too good for you. And besides, you always thought there was something wrong. Okay, well there is. But that means you have to drop the whole thing. I think they call that making a clean break. But if that preserves your life and your future, then it's worth it. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can see the show and read our blog on our website, starborninstitute.org, or if you would like to subscribe to my Karen Campbell YouTube channel, I'd be happy to send you the show every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. And that's a good way for us all to keep in touch, and for you to make comments about the show that you'd like to make as well. So I wish you a Happy New Year. Next week's show is going to cover the annual predictions month by month for all the new moons and the eclipses in 2022. And the following week will cover the sun sign predictions for all of 2022 as well. All right, thanks a lot and Happy New Year. Bye.